Welcome back. Joe Blasco here with Dan Striepeke. Saving Private Ryan. Let's talk about with this Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan, two monumental films.
Yeah, Forrest Gump was, I had done a couple of pictures with Tom before that. I did Dragnet '87. That's where I met Tom.
Yes.
And then I did The Burbs.
Yes.
And Forrest Gump was a marvelous opportunity, and
a lot of beard work in this film.
a lot of beard work.
A lot of continuity.
And I am an old-fashioned guy where there's no lace on my beards or mustaches.
Yes.
So anyway,
You cut it off the lace pieces. Is that what you're saying, or
no,
you hand lay everything?
everything, because in my opinion,
Yes.
that's the only way you get a lifelike beard.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because then this shaft of the hair moves separately than the next shaft.
Yes,
When it's on lace, it's all tied.
It's all moved
It's all going
together.
to be kind of contiguous, and it doesn't move individually. It's not
Exactly.
like a real beard.
Exactly.
It's just
I agree.
not only that, but it's constricting on the actor's
Right.
face. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
You should come in sometime, and we've got Bob Romero. Did you see Bob
I know
downstairs?
Bob very well.
Yeah, he was
I
teaching.
worked with his father. Of
He's
course,
teaching
and Bob
our.
worked for me.
Right.
He's teaching hair.
He's teaching hair.
Can't ask for better.
That's right.
Believe me.
You have to come in and do something at the school when you're not sculpting. All right,
yeah.
we'll talk about it.
When I'm
But
not
go ahead.
making pears.
That's right. When you're not making pears.
So, Hallie DeMore was
Yeah.
on the picture also.
Yes.
And so we ran the picture. And it was very interesting because I guess maybe I'm too much of a dramatist, but
No.
the first day of shooting was in the school bus with little Forrest and the little girl.
Right.
And the other kids. And so they're going along, and we're working the makeup trailer, preparing other stuff down the way. There's so much to be done on that picture. And the second morning, it's a continuation of that same sequence in the school bus. All of a sudden, the doors at both ends of the makeup trailer open. Everybody in the makeup trailer, out! We want you on the set immediately. So anyway, we get in the van and we go over there. It's about a mile away. We go up this little country road, and Zemeckis is walking up and down the road, up and down the road, up and down the road. He comes up to me. He says, "If I had a gun, I'd shoot you."
I see another broken nose coming here.
And I said, "I'm holding it in, And then I said, let him vent his spleen. Let's see what's going on here." So anyway, his script supervisor had told him that Forrest's hair was a mismatch. Well, Forrest's hair was about as short as yours. You remember the little kid?
Yes.
Give me a break. So anyway, Bob is venting and venting and venting and just livid. He says, I can't shoot. My script supervisor, I can't shoot, not the matches. So I said, we'll take care of it after he vented.
Yes.
So the hairdresser, I forgot who she was. Anyway, we went on the trailer.
How was it not matching? If it was this short.
It's impossible. Anyway, we went onto the school bus.
Right.
And I looked at the little boy, and I went,
Now
we left the trailer.
Now it matches.
We left the trailer, and I said, shoot it. And we got in the van, went back, and they shot the rest of the day. So it was a very embarrassing moment, though, to start
Sure.
the film off this way. So as it turned out, at lunchtime, the makeup trailer was fairly close to the director's trailer.
Yes.
And I'm coming out of the makeup trailer, and Bob is just getting ready to go in his trailer.
Yes.
He says, "Dan," he said, "may I talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I go over. He says, "I want to apologize."
Oh.
I said, "Apology taken and accepted."
Yeah.
I said, "Let's move on and make the picture."
Good.
Those are my exact words. He says, "God bless you. Okay, thank you." He said, "I'll never trust my script clerk again." She was trying to make
Right.
a power play.
Do you realize how great this information is? For the audience
Well,
worldwide.
it was a terrible moment because it was just
Yes.
in front of everybody.
Yes.
In fact, he was the only for the prop department to get a gun.
Yeah.
A
prop gun.
Well, I don't know what, but anyway. So anyway, Forrest Gump had some very interesting demands on us. Number one, we had the 3 barbers who had to age. And I did that with a silicone jelly that I would put on the lands of the crow's feet.
Yes.
And I'd have a squeeze,
Yes.
which would force it.
Yes. Up.
And then slightly powder.
Yes.
And then, witch hazel, a little water or something to take
right.
the powder off. And then just do a little watercolor on it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's how we kept building up the ages of those guys. And then we had a lot of them at the house that the same way, members who came to the house and everything.
Yes.
But a lot of that was cut out. Yeah. Now,
that was brilliant, by the way.
Now we come to the aging of Sally Fields.
Yes.
And they had hired an outside makeup artist, and it was $65,000. And it was a full overhead appliance. And poor Sally had no shoulders. It was this big. You'd take that much around the head.
Right.
So we shot a test on it, and Zemeckis said, "This is unacceptable."
It looked like what it was.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. Right. So then he turned to me and he says, "What can you do?" I said, "Well, just leave me to my devices." So we took Miss Fields the next morning, Hallie and myself, and and you kind of go back to what you'd done a long time ago.
Yeah, sure.
So I said to the hairstylist, I said, "Now what we're going to do, we're going to take Gafquat. We all know what Gafquat is, and we're going to paste her hair down, at least back to here. And then we're going to stipple loaded rubber over the top of that. Rubber with clay load.
Right. Fillered rubber.
Yeah. So she said, "You're crazy." I said, "Trust me."
It works.
We did it on Alexander Scorpion Giant.
There you go.
So we did the stipple and about 8 coats of it or whatever, drying each time. And then, of course, the wig went on. So we had the
bald tape.
Yeah, and no cap to worry about or anything else. And then just hot water and soap, and the gas dissolves, and the rubber falls.
Yeah, it falls apart.
Really works well.
It's terrific.
So,
how long did it shoot? How long did it work?
Sally?
No, with that makeup.
I think 3 days.
3 days.
Her dying.
And each day, how long was she wearing this?
Oh, she wore it all day.
All day long.
Yeah,
and it held up really well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely, and it was about an hour-and-a-half application.
Wow.
With
construction makeup.
Now,
so we're going back to construction makeup. With
true.
That.
And then I did the same thing around her. She had good development around the eyes.
Right.
So I did all that.
Yeah.
The rest of it was highlight and shadow.
Yes.
But we used watercolors.
Yeah, I love watercolor.
You just see right through.
Now,
them.
we're not talking about the aqua color or the crown or anything.
No.
Not the makeup watercolor.
Watercolor.
Actual watercolor. I used to use that for quick change aging makeups at ABC.
It's beautiful.
I'd do the whole aging.
And it's totally transparent. You see the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, and Sally is a wonderful actress, so she just grabbed it and ran with it. So Zemeckis liked it so much that he gave me a role in the picture, and I'm still getting residuals.
That's terrific.
Yeah, I get it. Now it's $14 or something.
Wow.
But I had 3 days work as an actor.
Oh, great.
And working as a football coach.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a little aside, a little funny little story.
Terrific.
Now on Private Ryan.
Right.
I was working as a personal for
Tom. Yes.
And
who was doing all of the effects, the makeup effects?
Well, Lois Burwell and Connor O'Connor.
Oh.
And Connor is a talented fellow.
Yes,
I like Connor. And I helped with a lot of squib stuff because I had time to help. The multi-wound body on the little Italian fellow was brilliant.
Yes,
absolutely
it was.
Brilliant. And it was a wonderful experience, Private Ryan. It really was.
Where did you shoot this?
We shot that in the Normandy sequence was on a beach in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, near on the Irish Sea. It absolutely
Beautiful.
approximated. You can't shoot on Normandy because it's a national monument.
Yeah.
but it absolutely, even Cop du Hoc was there. I mean, everything was there.
Yes.
And the rest of it we shot in England.
Yes.
It was interesting continuity experiment because,
How's that?
well, you're jumping all over.
Right, yeah, right.
You know, and the beard,
Right.
it's, you know, you couldn't get away with a long beard. But we get back to beards. On Tom, because he's running the studio didn't like the picture. They had done a Savant, they said we had one Savant film the year before with Dustin
Right.
Hoffman. You know,
Right, right.
And they didn't think it was going to go.
Right.
In fact, 2 days before shooting, they put a red light on the picture. So you got to take X amount of millions out of the picture. Now this shows how smart the studios are.
Oh, tell me about it.
What they do, Tom took so many millions out, renegotiated for a percentage of the gross. And the rest is history. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The money that poured in, which the
Fantastic.
studio didn't get.
Yes.
They're giving gross away. But they
Amazing.
wouldn't let them put an added 6 or 7 days on the schedule
Yeah.
to shoot the running
How
of
stupid.
Forrest.
Yeah.
So every Saturday night after work, we'd fly somewhere, whether it be Maine or Ozarks or
Yes.
somewhere, to film him running. And at 5 o'clock Sunday morning, I'd get up and do the beard, you know, that big long
Right.
beard, and the mustache, and we'd do, you know, 5, 6 shots, and then we'd get on an airplane and fly somewhere else.
Yes.
And then come back Sunday
Now,
night.
this was all hand-laid,
Yeah.
these long beards.
and curled.
And curled,
And
yeah.
then we would, well, it was progressive too.
Yes, yes.
And then we would get back to Beaufort,
Yes.
and at 1 o'clock in the morning, I had a 5:30 call the next morning.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, it's just
Right.
first call in my whole life. So anyway, in fact, the producer said to me, he says, "Can we make a deal?" I said, "I don't even know how to spell the word." It was arduous. It was very
Yeah,
arduous.
yeah.
Yeah, it was tough to do it.
You've done a lot of films like
And,
that, a lot of tough films.
Well, yeah, they're all have their interest
you have,
points.
You have
know,
you've really shown others how to pay their dues. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
I enjoyed my work immensely. You know, I remember working on a picture, Pork Chop Hill.
Oh yes.
And Frank Prohoda was doing it
Frank
with
Prohoda.
Gregory Peck.
Yes.
And I was working as one of the mob
Right,
guys
right.
and doing the dirt and everything,
Right.
you know, the terrible battle sequences. And we used a particular rosin and I have to go back in my book somewhere
Yes.
and find it, that put it on and you could paint with it, you
Yes.
know, and you could do highlight and shadow with it by rubbing and doing, you know, and it would stay all day. It would
Mm-hmm.
not move. The actor could sweat, could just stay there.
Right.
And it was just marvelous to work with. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was a wonderful, and the product is still in existence.
A rosin.
It's yeah, it was a very fine, like a hairspray rosin almost. But you add it with Fuller's Earth or something, you
You
know.
mix it.
And then you just take a big rouge brush.
Right.
Or you know, and then take
and then
tissue
and buff it. Right.
burnish it.
Varnish it. Right.
And boy, it just
Right.
you know how
It
hard
would
it is to
set,
match that
stay.
kind of stuff.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it gets into every little crick. and
Absolutely.
crack, and you want the same tomorrow.
Right. Oh, having to match
Yeah,
that.
it's a wonderful thing.
Well, today we have all the tattoo inks and
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I created the Stay colors. I was the first to do Stay Dirt.
Oh, really?
Stay Dirt.
Stay Dirt.
And nobody bought it. I had Stay Dirt, I had Stay Blood, you know, all these different colors. And nobody bought it, so I stopped making it.
Oh.
Then Ben Nye comes out with Clean Dirt.
Clean Dirt.
And capillary color, you know, and then suddenly everybody's doing all this Stay stuff. Now Matthew's got an entire line,
Yeah.
fantastic line of all these wonderful tattoo inks.
Yeah.
And they stay put, which are great for continuity because they don't move.
God, I think of the old Max Factor castor
Oh.
grease, you know, with
Oh,
that
goodness.
oil.
Do you remember? You remember shopping at the salon, right? Right there on Highland. Do you remember the girls there? Can you remember their names?
No,
you
but I
remember
remember
Jeannie?
Josephine there because she was
Josephine
the wig
in the
maker
wig
there.
department. Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
worked for Bob Roberts.
Right.
No, I don't remember
Yeah,
the girls there. No.
But there was a cute little girl there. Her name was Jeannie. There was Jeannie. There was Fran. There was Betty. I
I remember they were all
very-
exceedingly
Hal
nice.
King was there.
Yeah, Hal
he was
King,
in charge of the department.
Makeup.
Then after, then after
Bob
that,
Roberts with the hair.
Yeah. Then I think it was after Hal was Bob Salvatore, I think.
The interesting picture I did with Tom was Road to Perdition.
Yes.
And Sam Mendes directed,
Yes.
and Albert Walski was the costume designer. And this should be of interest to makeup artists.
Yes. Everything you're saying is of interest to me.
Pardon?
Everything you're saying.
Well, Albert Walski had been over to Playtone, to Tom's offices, several times, and they were trying wardrobe. And they, of course, it was the 1930s. So it was the vest and the coat and the kind of baggy trouser, the cuffs, and the wingtip shoes, and,
Right.
and finally the fedora.
Right.
And so I had been over to see Tom, and I said, Tom, I know you're an American icon, and it's dangerous to fool around with this, but I said, would you be willing to try to change your looks for this role? He said, if you want to do it, let's try it. So I took a cast of his face that day, just a small moulage.
Right.
And I went to Matthew with it, because I
Matthew
didn't have a
Mumble.
lab anymore or anything like that. And nor did I want one. Anyway,
I have to thank you at this moment because you keep mentioning my students, my graduates.
I know.
I have to thank you for giving them work.
he's a
for
pip.
using them. Yeah.
so I went to Matthew, and I said, and I had done a little sketch of the clay, and I said, this is what I want. So Matthew did the final sculpture and made the mold and made a gelatin piece for
Yes.
me. So I also went out and bought an airbrush.
Yeah.
And because I knew we were going to have 30 days of travel in the
Yes.
film, and there'd be a beard growth thing,
Yes.
and the haircut growth thing.
Yes.
And so, and also, I wanted to be able to do some shading
Yes.
besides by hand.
Yes.
So anyway, I went out to Playtone, took my makeup chair and all this stuff. I did the makeup on him, and Kathy Blondell was there and did the hair comb.
Yes.
And Albert Walski was there, and he brought the clothes, and Tom put on the clothes. And he came out of his bedroom, and everybody says, "Oh my God, it works!"
Yes.
And Albert says, "I always thought it was about the clothes." I said, "No, Albert, it's always about the faces."
That's
He said,
right.
"You son of a gun." I love Albert. He's a great guy and a very talented man.
Tell us more about what
But
you
anyway,
did.
with the clothes,
Yes.
with the clothing and the fedora and everything, Tom's youthful kind of open face
Yes.
didn't work. It was contradictory.
Yes.
So I got more of a hawk-like look to him.
Yeah.
And then the airbrushing thinned him down, and I was airbrushing and stippling, approximating the beard they would be wearing,
Yes.
and also the 30s haircut.
Yes.
And I even pushed one ear out a little bit, just to get it away from the symmetry. And it got his chin cut off, and then this hawk kind of nose look, and also a very small Germanic mustache.
Yes.
It would come down from under the nose out to the corner, but typical 30s.
Yeah.
style.
Very thin.
Very thin, very short.
Yes. Yes.
And I laid that on, which he later grew, of course, for the production.
Yes.
And, I shot videotape on that with my camera.
Yes.
And we shot.
Do you have that videotape?
Still, I don't. They sent it to Chicago to Sam Mendes
Yes.
to look at, and also Richard Zanuck was the
Yes.
producer. So I don't know whatever happened to it, but anyway, the word came back. That's a go. We love it, and Tom loved it too, of course, and it worked really. I'm so very proud of that work in Road to Perdition. Also, on Jude Law, who was one of the most handsome men in the world.
Yes.
We made him look like a claw, terrible creature because he lives in the dark room.
Yes.
I did nails on him and airbrushed his hands so they became much more claw-like.
Yes.
Total airbrush. We went in and cut, like every other hair all the way back, and to get that baldness
Yes.
and he looks reptilian almost in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of airbrush and very pale because he's always a night creature,
Yes.
but real,
Yes.
not
Yes.
not.
Tell what's the title again of this film?
Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition.
And this has got to be on DVD.
Yes, now it's on.
Yes.
It's a wonderful.
Yeah,
film.
you've got to see this. It is
Wonderful
amazing.
film, wonderful film. And I was also doing Paul Newman on it, and I had known Paul. That once again goes around.
Yes.
I worked with John and Claude and Fred Williams on a thing called Playwrights 56 with Fred Coe came out here to do.
Yes.
And Paul did The Battler, Hemingway's The Battler. But we had 90 seconds to change it from that young, beautiful man to that beat-up old fighter. And it was all of us with our hands, ears, and I applied. I mean, it was amazing how it happened.
Yeah.
You know, and he came out, this old doddering old bug, you know. But, and so then also I had relations with Paul on Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid, because we were at Fox at that time. And
Were you working? Did you work on Butch?
I did
Butch
the
Cassidy?
testing on it.
You did.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did that mustache for
Yes.
you know, the blonde.
Yes. Robert Redford.
Robert Redford.
Yes.
But anyway, so Paul wanted to be made up in his trailer. I said, okay, fine. So I set up a deal there. So the first day, and Paul's a funny guy. He's really got a great sense of humor. And I put the hair cloth on. He says, are you sure you know what you're doing? And I said, Paul, I know a hell of a lot more about what I'm doing than what you know about what you're doing. And he laughed. But Monty Westmore, who had been with him for so many years, and one of my dearest friends,
Yes.
was very ill and couldn't do it. And but Paul was a dear soul and lovely in it. And
He was very instrumental in helping the Westmores receive their star.
Oh, yeah.
On Hollywood Boulevard.
Right, because of Monty.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful individual, wonderful man. But I had a great time in that picture, and I must say that from every extra, everybody in that picture is definitely of that period. There's no false moves.
Yes,
anywhere.
perfect.
And that's what you strive for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And that's where the fun comes.
Detail.
When you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of everything that you've done, of all of the films that you've done, which was the most challenging? If you had to pick one, I know
challenging?
You know, everybody's going to say, "Oh, he's going to say Planet of the Apes."
No,
but I have a feeling you're not going to say Planet.
I
of
can't
the Apes.
say that because there was so much support.
Yes,
and
yes.
particularly John.
Yes.
You know,
but a film that you did
yes,
on your own,
that I
the way
did on my own.
all of us used to do films without all the support.
Oh yeah.
You know, where we did everything.
Of course, that I did for Bert Gordon.
The Magic Sword.
I have to tell you how I did.
I want to see. This is where I first met you.
Yeah, I have to tell you how I did that.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
The Magic Sword, if you haven't seen it, is a film that was produced by Bert I. Gordon. All right, one of these low-budget films.
15 days.
Yeah, 15 days it took him to shoot. This man did the original Coneheads, the pinhead creatures, and witch makeups, and just all sorts of just incredible stuff. Bird heads.
I have to tell you,
you got to see it.
I was going through a divorce at that time, so I had a little bachelor apartment not too far off of Lancashire Boulevard from the studio, and I'd sit up at night with a bottle of scotch and a bag full of turkey feathers, iridescent turkey feathers. And I'm gluing them on these slip-on heads, you know, for the bird heads.
Right.
And I did get to use the lab at Universal to do the foam for Estelle Winwood for the old witch.
For the witch.
And also for the pinheads.
Yes. And this is where I first met you.
You did?
Through a magazine. Through Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine.
Is that right?
There was a picture of this wonderful gentleman standing in front of a sculpture that he was doing of this witch.
Oh, the witch, yeah.
Yes, and he's standing in front, and he's making this face like this. I'll never forget. I looked at this and I went, wow, he looks like he's really enjoying that. He's really having fun. I want to do that too.
I have to tell you, from an effort that with no money and no facilities, and it's by today's standards, it's very crude. But it was great fun, and I learned a lot doing that picture. And Bert and I always, and then I did a picture later called Color Mommy Dead or something like that. It was a horror film.
Right.
But Martha Heyer and
we have to check. Well,
Zasha Gabor.
Let me look on.
I don't know if he's even on there or not. Probably isn't.
Probably not.
We shot most of it up at Greystone.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They use that place for everything. Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh, my God.
I
have to tell you a story.
Smoke.
Let me tell you
picture
about a young makeup artist. I was at NBC at the time.
Really?
And they needed extra help, of course. They had particularly for the bamboo nose dance,
Yes.
And it's all bald caps.
Yes.
So, they hired myself and Eddie Butterworth and Don Schoenfeld and I think, the whole group of people from TV went over there to work at the Desilu.
Well, Eddie Butterworth and Don Schoenfeld were over at Universal. Weren't they? Did they apprentice at Universal?
Don?
Yeah.
No, Don started with me on those big calls at Ten Commandments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Butterworth?
Eddie Butterworth, same time.
Yes.
We all started the same day. Yeah.
Amazing.
At Paramount.
All right. With Wally, you were
in the mob. Yeah, in the mob room. Yeah.
Right.
Putting on beers with solder wire.
Right. That was the last time I ever did beers on solder wire.
Last time ever.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's
good. The young makeup
artist. It's a cold morning. I don't know what time of year, winter or late fall or something. And Terry Miles, who is the dearest man in the world, and Gus Noreen, who was
amazing,
grouchy guy, but talented man.
Very.
And Joe, his father, was really a fabulous start of the lab business, so to speak. Anyway, I go. Go to the table. There's little makeup tables, with electric light bulbs.
Yes.
And I go over, get issued the ball cap, and it's like, oh God, it's like the hardest thing you ever touched in your life. There's no flexibility at all.
It was a vinyl cap.
Yeah,
right?
it was cold, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
So I got everything set up. I got my gum and everything ready to go, and blah blah blah. So I put the cap over the bulb to heat it, to warm it.
Right.
And I touch it, it burns right straight through it. Well, I come back, and Terry Miles, I'll never forget. I come back and I said, I had an accident. He says, here's another one. Don't ever let it happen again.
We have to explain. Back then we were using these vinyl caps. In fact, we still have vinyl caps, and we use them. But back then they were thick and
these had good edges, though.
They were good edges, but
fairly thick.
But they would, if it was cold, they would be stiff. So we'd take it and put them over a light bulb.
Or a hairdryer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but my light bulb I touched. I never was told. I was crushed. I figured I was going to be fired.
He didn't even say a second word, did he? I mean, he just
Don't
gave
ever
you a
let
new
it
cap.
happen again. Well, anyway, years later, I had Terry working for me at Fox a lot because I just love him. And he was a very capable makeup artist. His father was before him. Also. And we used to laugh about it at Great Lake, though. But I was so scared. I was so frightened. Oh my God! End of career,
That's
right?
funny.
Even before it starts.
Right. Now, at Fox, how long were you head of the department at Fox? You were there quite a while.
1967 to 1972.
1972.
5 years.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut everything down.
You came in right at the tail end.
Yeah, right at the tail end.
Do you remember?
But boy, what a finish.
Oh, yeah, big time. Do you remember when the back lot, when they still had the back lot?
Oh, yes. I
went
worked there.
all the way up to Santa Monica Boulevard.
We worked there with the Ernie Kovacs thing.
Yeah. That's where Century City is now. I suppose that's why they call it Century
goes up
City.
to Olympic, and then the bridge went across to Olympic.
It went across, and then it went all the way to Little Santa Monica Boulevard.
You see the ships.
I know. I remember as a kid when I was
Bernadette Street.
Yeah.
All that sort of.
When I was a kid, I used to climb the fence and look over and see all
that magic land.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, those days are gone forever.
Yeah.
Well, the back lot at MGM, Lot 4, for instance.
I worked there, too.
Well, they had the old Cotton Blossom and all those things there.
The old train station.
Yeah, all that.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. Yeah. But I remember at Warner Brothers, for instance, working on those TV westerns.
Mm-hmm. Maverick.
Maverick, Sugarfoot, Colt 45, the Marshal, all the rest of them. The Western Street at Warner Brothers they'd have 3 or 4 companies on that street at the same time.
Right.
And they have wigwags, with the bell going
Right.
off, and everybody else had to stop while they go to take
right.
there. But
Can't have overlapping
But also
gunshots.
they had green sets and everything,
Right.
and then interior, stage sets with the street.
Right.
But if a company got behind, everybody else backed into it, 'cause it was really like a sausage factory.
Right, right. Of all the department heads that you've worked for, and it appears that you've worked for all of them, which did you enjoy working with the most?
Well, I think Gordon Bow. Really, I just adored him. But George was his brother was
George.
so.
I
nice
knew
to me.
George.
George,
Gordon, I didn't know that well.
George was they're both the same cut. But
Yeah.
I tell you, George Bow he was sent to U.S. Rubber in Akron, Ohio, to perfect the foam. motor.
I know. He was
And
the,
Charlie Schramm, if you know this or
I
not,
know.
he bought that formula from
George.
the
I
day
know.
before George committed
I
suicide.
know that. I was there a week before he
You
committed
were?
suicide.
Oh, my God.
He worked with George, and I used to go to his house on Laurel Canyon, and he taught me how to make molds.
Right.
These were in his last days when he couldn't even talk.
Really?
And he was using this machine
yeah.
on his throat.
Yeah.
He taught me how to make molds. He taught me how to run the foam. He taught me about all the rubber, the just different dispersions, the different
Right,
compounds,
right.
and how to time it and do this and do that.
Right.
I learned it all from George. I was so lucky.
He was brilliant.
Lucky, and I remember going over there, and he was pouring latex down the sewer in front of the house. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, I'll buy this from you. I'll take this from you. You take it. He says, "I don't want it. Get it out of here."
Yeah.
So
Well, he saw his brother suffer from
Yeah,
cancer.
yeah.
And I think that's one reason why George did what he did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
But a wonderful man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
fantastic. Let me tell you a story. I got to tell you a story.
Sure.
I think you guys could listen to me talk for a little second. Put up with me for a while, and you'll enjoy this. I was apprenticing with Ben and I. He was every day teach me how to lay beards and do this and do that, and at night, because I was doing this picture called The Touch of Satan, and I was doing these sculptures. I was doing the forehead piece and the nose piece and all these different sculptures for this aging makeup that I did on this witch character, which very much looked like the witch that you did in The Magic Sword, come to think of it. And so I was going over to George's house, and he was teaching me how to sculpt and how to do this and that. And I had all of these sculptures done, all lined up, the forehead piece and the back of the hands and all this lined up in my kitchen. And I told Ben, I said, Ben, because I was making makeup at Ben's lab to put onto the appliances. Yeah. So I said, Ben, come on over. I want you to see what I'm doing at my kitchen. I want you to see the pieces. So I figured I'm going to pull something on these guys. Because I found out that Ben and I had never met George Bow, and vice versa. So I invited George over.
Oh, my gosh.
So Ben comes in first, he had just had surgery on his eye. And he's got his cane, and he's walking in, and he's going like this, always trying to hide that eye. And he comes over, and he looks at it, and I had made all my retaining walls out of water clay, and the actual sculptures were done out of oil-based clay, Roma Plastilina #2. And they're cracking. The water-based clays are cracking. So Ben goes over. This is late in the day. So he goes over, he grabs a cup with water, and he's pouring water all over everything. He's saying, oh my God, they're ruined, they're going to be ruined. And I hear this voice billowing from the back, "They're all right, just take a brush to them. Just smooth them over." And I look back.
Sounds like George.
It is George.
Yeah.
It's George. And Ben turns around and looks at him like this, and I suddenly realized, oh my God, here are these two giants.
They never met.
They never met each other. So I said, Ben and I, this is George Bow, Ben and I. Tried to spit it out real quick, right? And they looked at each other, and it was like, oh. Ben went, oh, and he tried to hide his eye.
Over his eye.
He's such
like
a
Dr. Strange.
What a sweet man. Sweet.
Oh, Ben was a dear man.
And Ben was the first to extend his hand. Ben said,
absolutely.
He says, all these years, 35 years, and we've never met each other. Yeah. And they both looked at me and they said, "Thank you, Joe, for bringing us together."
That's a nice moment.
That was so fantastic.
No, that's a wonderful moment.
It was.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
That was about 1972, I think. 1972, back then.
the last picture I did was Da Vinci Code,
Yes.
and we did it in England
Yes.
and France.
Yes.
And I had some continuity things there. Nothing
Good film.
with because of the running and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And it was all kind of compressed time.
Now, the
thing.
makeup on the fellow that appeared to be albino.
Yes, I didn't have anything to do with
You
that.
didn't do that?
No, Frances did that, an English makeup artist, a very good girl. But anyway, and I was talking about this earlier
Yes.
in your makeup room. I started using some skin products on Tom,
Yes.
and because I wanted him to look a little more
Yeah,
youthful.
skincare products.
Skincare
Yes.
products, and linoleic acid and things like that, that would be conducive to good skin tone. And Tom has some Portuguese blood in him, so he has a yellow cast sometimes. And I didn't want a lot of makeup on him, but I wanted to look good. But I also had a stipple beard to do on him because it was just impossible for him to grow and maintain the continuity of the way the picture was designed. And as you know, stipple beards are infamous to take care of because of the creases and it rubs off, and it's a pain.
Right.
But if it's done right, they can look very convincing
Absolutely.
for a certain amount of beard growth. And that's what I needed. So, and I also believe in taking my rubber red or orange textured sponge,
Yes.
and I never use the same one twice.
Yes.
A new one every day.
Every
or
time.
I trim it down.
Absolutely.
New.
Do you
ball,
trim it rounded?
Yeah, of course. And make sure you don't have cups.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Do you ever use the black sponge?
Yes.
The air conditioning filters.
For a little more coarse.
Right,
work,
exactly.
yeah. And so I was using this product on him, and which a doctor friend of mine had given me,
Yes.
and I had introduced her to Tom.
Yes.
And he thought it was a good idea.
Yes.
So
In the makeup room, you said you were talking to me about a skincare product.
If your yeast level comes up, and that's because your thyroid is not working quite right, particularly if you're getting older,
Right.
you start getting all these age spots.
Yes.
And this is a thyroid type compound that you
Yeah.
put on your skin,
Yes.
and it's like a cream.
Now, this is sold in a beauty supply store?
No,
or
this is
in a pharmacy?
This is a elevated type. This is
I see.
through a pharmacy.
I see. Do you
And
need a prescription for this?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, and it's a plunger that you take, a certain amount of.
Yes.
You take 1 cc
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes.
Rub it on your face.
Yes.
1 cc at night. And rub it on your face.
I see.
And it smells lemony.
Yes.
It smells nice.
Yes.
And it has a consistency of a night cream.
Yes.
And but it's revelatory. And,
All right, well-
and I think this is another phase of makeup we have to be approaching and
Absolutely.
encompass.
Yes, yes, yes. We're teaching a very extensive skincare course here, which we call preparation for makeup, which is important. You've got to have a good surface, a good
Yeah,
canvas to work upon if you're going to get
absolutely.
a good result.
Canvas is bad.
Especially now with the HD.
HD, absolutely.
And we've got this skincare wizard. His name is Tom Kish, who's going to be coming in and actually doing a seminar on the makeup
good,
space where he's
good.
going to do like a pre-HD makeup skincare facial thing. Where, if you come in tight on that HD, you see every little bump. And this facial that he does takes those bumps down. But what you're talking about is medical. This goes way beyond regular skincare. Are you working with them in any way in developing this?
No,
or-
not.
This is just something
right
you've
now
discovered.
I'm a guinea pig for it, so
Oh,
to
really?
speak. I mean, I'm well, not a guinea pig. That's not the right phrase.
Well,
I'm using it
you're the test.
on my doctor's advice.
I see. Yes.
And so is my wife.
Yes.
And the results have been
And
really,
it's taken down the spots.
really,
Yeah, because you don't have any spots
really,
there to
really
speak
a lot,
of.
really.
Terrific.
And we noticed it on my wife's hands and
Yes.
her chest and her,
Yes.
her face.
Is
She's
it
a redhead,
Yes.
so it spots a
You
lot.
should have brought her today. Maybe next time when we get together.
Well, it's hard to get her to get in. She was a hairstylist,
Oh, really?
at Paramount.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Then she quit the business and became a real estate broker.
Yes.
opened her own
You met her
company.
you met her at Paramount when you were working?
No, Sherry and I worked together at MGM many, many years ago, and then she went her way, and I married.
Yes.
And then my wife died, brain cancer, and
sorry.
yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah. And then we met again years later, and here we are.
Yeah, that's
so
wonderful.
Life goes on.
Yeah. Do you remember Mary Keats?
Oh, absolutely.
Junie Miggins.
Yes.
These are girls.
Mary was on Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah.
Well, she was head of the hairdressing.
Oh yeah.
At MGM for
MGM.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to use Mary and Junie all the time on all the shows at ABC.
Yeah.
And I was there almost 25 years.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. What great memories you've got. That's terrific. This is really a treat.
Mary Keats, I tell you, as long as I live, I remember. We were working on the River Kwai, and it was the monsoons were over, so the river.
The bridge on the River Kwai.
No, we were working on.
Oh, you were on the
Kwai.
River Kwai.
Yeah, doing.
I was going to say he did that picture too.
No, on Deer Hunter.
Yes.
But the river had
You were
receded.
on the actual river. Yes.
The river had receded.
Yes.
And we were about 12 miles above the infamous bridge.
Yes.
And anyway, the river had receded, so it was like 100 steps going up to where the hotel was.
Wow.
And I mean, they had what they call these long-tail boats, you know,
Yes.
like canoes with
Yes.
an engine with a big.
Right.
Anyway,
The
they bring us
big
up.
rudder on them.
They bring us up and drop us off, and hot and dirty and
Humid.
climbing up these steps.
Yeah.
Mary, I'll never forget it because she'd be at the top of these steps, and Dell and I would come trudging up with our boxes, and she'd each have a gin fizz for us or a vodka tonic, and it was like
That's my Mary.
manna from heaven. I'm telling you,
She was great. Oh,
because there's
man.
no room for her on the set,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, she
Yeah.
was just it was great.
So now, we have a lot of people watching that are new to the business. A lot of makeup artists, student makeup artists.
Yes.
You know, students from all the schools all over the world watch this
Right.
makeup artist television. We try not to make it, you know, one-sided to Joe Blasco. You know, it's all, you know, you know, at the top of my building it says "Teaching the World the Fine Art of Makeup." So this MUA TV is finally given me a platform with which to do that, to show the entire world what we do here in Hollywood.
I think it's marvelous.
You know,
yeah.
So where I'm going with this is that with your being here and people are now able to see you, to hear you, and to know who you are, and to appreciate what you've done, and for these people, you have so much experience, and you've done so much to elevate the profession and to create, you know, such a much more wonderful art form within which we can all move and flourish and love. I'd like you to look at this camera right here, your camera, your close-up
there,
camera,
okay.
and I want you to talk to these thousands, not more than thousands of people that are thinking about getting into the makeup field.
Right.
Tell them the truth. Give them your words of wisdom, the kind of words of wisdom that both you and I would have loved to have heard before we actually got into the business.
Okay.
Right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, number one. You know, the wonderful thing about the world of makeup is that it's an evolving world. And the evolving world of makeup is that the art is growing and it's getting larger every day, every year. We're exploring newfound frontiers. There are just so many new things to discover, better ways of doing things. There just is such unclaimed territory out there. So if you're interested in the art of makeup, you must be an explorer. And go out and explore and observe and watch people in real life, whether you go to the Southwest or Northeast, jungles or snow or whatever. How red does a nose get, you know? How deep does a tan get? How bad can a scar be? All the above. I mean, there's just unlimited possibilities to practice your art if you want to be an accomplished makeup artist. Now, that's the great thing about this medium is that, and I said it earlier, it's ever growing. And one can never really learn enough. And that is the great holy grail, if you will, about this art. I hope I've conveyed something to you that you can feast on. And the feast is to do your art in an excellent fashion and develop your crafts and your skills. And it is developing crafts and skills. It is dexterity with coordination with the eye. It is being able to take that human hair and make it alive on a human face, make it really make a statement. That is a wonderment, and it's out there for you every day you practice this art. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They not only agree with what you're saying, but I know that you're inspiring many people out there to know more about the profession. You're so lucky, all of you, honestly. You're so lucky. This is such a special moment in my life to be able to interview you. Good. And I really wish that at some point in the past that we had gotten to know each other better.
Well,
and been able
never too late.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know.
But you know, things are as they are, and I'm here because I'm here because of the way things turned out. And I'm really happy for that. I'm happy to be able to interview you and to share you to bring you to the world of makeup artists.
So I love this art form so much, as you can tell.
Yeah, the passion. Did you see the passion?
That anything I can do to convey this to future people or present people who want to pursue this art form, then. Yes. I'll do it.
Yeah, let me say one more thing. What you've just witnessed in that little speech, as short as it may have been, was a great deal of love and respect for the profession and passion that comes from deep within. And this man, I know, is today as passionate as he was the first day that he began working. I know that. And you are truly an inspiration to everyone. To my students, to students at all of the other makeup schools, and to all makeup artists.
Well, thank you,
that
Joe.
Are watching this broadcast. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you
for doing this.
My pleasure.
You know, it's really phenomenal that you've come today, and especially
the pair.
My pair. Isn't that great? This is the best thing.
I'm going to bring that formulation to you, and
okay.
I'll get all that to you.
For the skincare?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to come by and see your sculptures, right?
I want you to.
Okay. All right.
And be critical.
Okay. I hate to see this stop because honestly, this is a wonderful moment.
Well, good. I'm glad.
And your being here is so special to me.
To the folks out there.
Yes.
I have to say that this man is doing exemplary work. And, to reach out like this is just absolutely wonderful. And, I appreciate it. I think every makeup artist who appreciates the work and the art will appreciate it also.
Yeah,
because if you can start off with this knowledge from this gentleman, via the internet, boy, do you have a one-up on everybody.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
It's really wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is Joe Blasco, and I can't tell you how wonderful this moment has been for me, and I know that you share my opinion. This past hour or so, being able to sit and talk one-on-one with Dan Striepeke is a very historic moment, and one that I will cherish forever. And so you keep doing makeup out there. Keep loving what you do. Keep that passion. And keep watching MUA TV, because we're going to have more makeup and hair programming for you, just for you, right after this.